I'm gonna put it on now. The good news is there are other dosage calc tutorings on my YouTube channel. Everybody knows how to get to my YouTube channel. You just type in my name, Susan Loesch, go into YouTube, and I have all types of dosage calc tutoring in there. I have L/R videos, I have patho videos, I probably have a couple med surg videos, I probably have some OB and peds videos. It's probably about 170, 180 videos in there on different things.
I was on last night.
Okay, good. All right, how we do with 9? We ready to look at it? Some of you might have even did 10 while I was talking. Hey, how we do with number 9? Got it? All right, how many of you did number 10 already? Anybody? All right, go ahead and do number 10. So remember, Celsius to Fahrenheit, we're going high. We're going to multiply and then add. How'd we do? Anybody struggling there? Everybody's good? Okay. Now's the time to speak up. Don't wait till the test. All right, next we're going to look at tablespoons. We'll come back. We'll still get some more temperatures, and we'll see if you remember the formula, if we have time. All right, let's see. We have tablespoon to mLs, okay? So tablespoon is how many mLs?
15.
Okay, so how do I remember? All right, I got 2. Whoop, let's go up here. Hey, I got teaspoon and tablespoon. Now, in a tablespoon, there's a B. Okay, so that means there be more mLs in that. So that one's going to be 15 mLs, and this one is going to be 5 mLs. Okay, whenever you're calculating a problem that asks you how many teaspoons or how many tablespoons you're going to give, you have to calculate the mLs first and then convert. Okay. So you do the math just like you do any other math, and then you convert those mLs into whatever you need. So now we're looking for tablespoons. So how many is 12 tablespoons equal to in mLs?
180.
Okay. Everybody able to get that? This one don't want to open. Let's see, open up. There we go. Okay, ounces to mLs. If you can't do this, you can't run the bachelorette party. Right? How many mLs is 1 ounce?
30 ml.
30 mLs. So now you have how many ounces there? 50. So you're going to convert 50 ounces into mLs. What do we get?
I got 1,500.
Hey, 1,500. All right. Why did I say you can't run the bachelorette party if you can't do this one? Because your shot glasses are equal to that medicine cup you use on the floor, right? That little white plastic medication cup is the same as a shot glass, 30 mLs, 1 ounce. So, when they distribute liquor or when they distribute medicine bags, they measure them in mLs or liters because that's fluid. All right. So if you went to the store and you got a fifth of vodka, it'll be 750 mLs. And if you took that 750 and divided it by the number of mLs in each one of those little medicine cups, which is 30, it'll tell you exactly how many 1 ounce containers you can get. All right, just something to help remember, because sometimes when you get stressed on the test, you can't remember. All right, let's look at the next one. This is another weight base. How are you guys with that? This is now going from kilograms to pounds again. And then the next one is also kilograms to pounds. How are you feeling with that? Is everybody okay with this? Can we move on to something harder? Okay, let's look at the next one. So this is something like I just asked you, right? How many milliliters would the nurse document on the intake and output form as being infused from a 1 liter IV bag if 250 ml remained in the bag? So, first thing you have to figure out is how many milliliters is the 1 liter bag, right? Okay. How many milliliters is a 1 liter bag?
1,000.
Okay, it's 1,000 milliliters, and you have 250 left. So if you subtract that 250 from your 1,000 milliliter bag, it'll tell you how much went into the client or should have went into the client, right? Everybody understand that? Okay, let's see what you got. Any questions on that one? This one's going milliliters to liters. How are you guys with those conversions? Now remember, two things you can do here. You're going from milliliters to liters. Which way are you going? To the right or to the left?
To the left.
To the left. So whenever you go to the left, you're going to lose the love of your life. So that means you have to divide and conquer, right? Or you can move the decimal over. So your decimal would be here. Okay. And you can move it 1, 2, 3. Okay. Or divide by 1,000. 1250 divided by 1,000 is what?
1.25.
Okay. We don't use a trailing zero. So when you write it, you get rid of the zero there. Okay. All right. Now let's look at this next one. Okay. So this question says, how will you instruct the patient to measure the dose using an ordinary tablespoon? So first thing you have to calculate is what? In order to give this dose, what did I say for a tablespoon or teaspoon? What's the first thing you have to calculate? How many mLs you're going to give, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many mLs are you giving here?
The 15.
You're giving
Relax.
15?
Relax.
30.
Okay, you're giving 30. And how many is in a tablespoon?
30.
30's in a tablespoon?
15.
Okay, you're giving 30. There's 15 in a tablespoon. So what's your answer? How many tablespoons are you going to give?
1.
One?
2. 2.
Two. Two.
Okay, your order is 30 mLs, right? That's how you set it up. A tablespoon is equal to 15. I'm going to put the divided sign there, okay? A tablespoon is worth 15. So now you got to take 30 and divide it by each, but by the amount for each tablespoon. If you don't do it like this, you're going to get it wrong. So you should be given 2 tablespoons. Remember, you want to memorize those normal. What are the norms? And remember, I said the difference between tablespoon and teaspoon is the B. One has 15, one has 5. With the B, it'd be more mLs, which are 15 for 1 tablespoon. Try the next one. So this says, how do you measure the dose using a teaspoon? Administer blank amount of teaspoons. So now this one's not as easy because you have to do the math, right? So what is your formula first? for the problem. What kind of formula would you use to calculate your mLs here?
Desired over half.
Okay. Your desired order is? What's your desired order?
7.
50.
Okay. And what do you have on hand?
500.
It's not just 500, right? Read it right. It's 500 what?
Milligrams.
500 milligrams what?
Per 10
For
mLs.
10
Per
ml.
10 mLs. That's a very important statement there. Okay, I usually put it down here because that's where it goes after you do that math. That's your vehicle, okay? This is how it's coming in the body. All right, so milligrams is going to cross out here, right? And you're going to be left with mLs. So what's your dose here? How many mLs you going to give?
15. 15 mLs.
Okay, so how many teaspoons?
1.
1 teaspoon is 15 mLs?
3. Oh,
3.
3 teaspoons. 3.
It's okay, this is the time to mess up. Get it in your brain right so when you get to the quiz, you get it right. Okay, now let's look at this statement, and it's asking you how many tabs would be administered for 1 dose. Formula for dose is? What's the formula for a dose?
Desired over half.
Okay, so our desired dose is what?
Zero 0.5 milligrams.
Okay, and what do we have on hand?
250 micrograms per tablet.
Now, as you can see, the top and the bottom don't match, and we need to make them match. Okay, so I myself would get rid of the decimal. Now, which way is micrograms on the chart compared to milligrams? Is it to the right of milligrams or to the left?
The left.
To the right.
To the right.
It's to the right. Okay, so that means you can either move that decimal right here, 3 places to the right, 1, 2, 3. So you could add 2 zeros to that. Or you can multiply, right, by 1,000. So you see the decimal was here, and I moved it 1, 2, 3. Now I have the same on the top that I have on the bottom. That's my vehicle. Now I can do the math. You don't even need a calculator, really, right? Is that what you got? All right. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Which way am I going? So now we're going to
Lower.
go up or down?
Low. Down.
Low. So we're going sub. So that means we need to subtract first because the submarine goes low, right? That helps remind me that I need to subtract first, then divide. And then you had to round it. Don't forget that part. How'd we do? Everybody got the rounding right and everything, right? All right, you guys can practice some more of those on your own. Let me go and find a couple of things that we didn't do yet. All right, here's a military time one. Okay, so let's read this out. Okay. What time will the IV end? Okay, that's what it's asking. Okay. An IV is infusing at 150 mLs an hour with 600 milliliters of fluid left in the bag. Current time is 11:30 a.m. The IV will be completed in 4 hours. What time will the IV end? And we have to document it in military time. So the first thing you have to do is add the 4 hours. So 11:30 and 4 hours is what time?
15:30.
So let's stay in regular time first for those people that don't know how. Okay, so 15:30 is what time?
3:30.
3:30.
Okay, it's 3:30 p.m. Now you notice when I write regular time, it looks like that. Okay. So let's write it in regular time, 3:30 p.m. Now here's the rule for military time. Okay. From 12 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay. 12 a.m. is going to be 0000. Okay. And that's how it's written. 12:01 is going to be 0001. Okay. 1 a.m. is going to be 0100. And then 2 a.m. Shit. Can you type, Miss Sue? Okay. 2 a.m. would be 0200. 2:30 would be 0230. Okay. Now, when you get to 1 p.m., you have to add 12 hours to the main number. So you're adding 12 to that 3 there. Okay. So that's how she got the 15. And then it's 3:30. So it's 15:30. No colon, no PM, no AM. That's how you have to write it on the test. Hey, everybody good? Look at this one. And all this is doing is asking you what time the IV completed and write it military time. So there's no calculation required here. It started at 5 a.m. It's going for 12 hours. When is it going to end?
5 p.m.
Okay. Now it's 5 p.m. and it's after 1 p.m. So what do you have to add to that 5? To get military time?
0. At 12.
12.
Oh, 12.
Remember, you have to have 12 to the main number. So 5 p.m. plus 12 is what?
1700.
Mm.
No.
17, right? And so your answer is going to be 1700.
Right.
You see?
Celsius is 32. Celsius is Fahrenheit. Divided by
You okay there?
Fahrenheit.
Everybody
Celsius
understands that?
is 32.
Okay. Here goes the drop factor. Let's see what you know. Okay, the nurse should set the flow rate at how many drops per minute? Now, what is your formula for a drop factor? Okay, it's total volume over total time in minutes times the drop factor. So our total volume here is what?
1,500.
Okay, so when you look for total volume, always look for something that has the mLs behind it. Okay, like this. So we have 1,500 mLs, and our time is in hours. So we have to convert. So how do we convert 8 hours into minutes?
8 times 60.
Okay, which is what?
480.
Okay. And we got that 480 because we had 8 hours. Let me see if I can pull this up a little bit. Okay, we had 8 hours times 60 minutes. And that gave us the 480. Okay. Now we're going to divide that. Okay. And we're going to multiply times our drip factor, which is 15. Again, this is mLs. Okay. This is minutes. This is drops per minute or drops per ml, GTT per ml. Okay, so it's not that. This here will cross out. This here will cross out. And you'll be left with drops per minute, GTT per minute, okay, which is up here. So now 1,500 divided by 480 times 15 is what?
46.8.
Okay, and then the rule is to write it or
Rounded,
round it to the whole number.
which is 47 drops per
Okay.
minute.
Anybody have any issues with that one? Okay, let's look at the next one. Now, what's the difference between this one and the last one? Couple of differences here, okay? So first of all, what's your total volume here?
$300 ml.
300.
Okay. Not to embarrass you, how many people thought it was 500? It's okay if you did. I want to understand that you did that. Why is it not 500? because 500 is the amount of drug that we're putting in that IV. You see that milligrams? That represents a solid something that we added to this order, okay? It has to say mLs. If it doesn't say mLs, you got the wrong number. Okay, so your total volume here is 300. What is your time?
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
40 minutes, and it's already in minutes for you, so you don't have to do anything with that. And then your drop factor is 20.
20.
So what did you get?
$150.
150.
Okay, good. All right, now we're going to go over here. Let me pull up this other page. These are going to be a little bit harder. These are more level 2 questions you may see on an exam, but not necessarily on a quiz. But for anybody that's in health assessment, in med surge or higher, you might see these questions. So we already did a bunch of them. Let's go down and let's find number 5. Okay. All right. So number 5 says, what is the IV completion time? Now, what's different about this than the last question we looked at? And I'm going to show you. You always got to read thoroughly. Okay. So usually when you're doing these, you got to go to the total volume. Okay. But look at your total volume. It's 1,000 mLs. Okay. If you
The
read the
screen still
I'm
statement,
sorry,
showing
what number are you
25.
on?
number 5.
I don't see
It says number
Still showing
25.
25.
Okay. Let me switch. Probably got to reshare. Okay. You got number 5 now?
Yes.
So this is asking you what is the completion time on the IV, okay? But what you have to notice here is that you started with 1,000, but it already ran for a little while, right? Because it infiltrated. Now, when it infiltrated, you only have 600 left in the bag. This is asking you the completion time. You have to start with what you have left in the bag. You can't start with 1,000 on here, because if you do, you're going to get a wrong answer because you don't have 1,000. You started with 1,000. You see that? Everybody see that?
Yes.
But you only have 600 left now. Okay. So you have 600 left, and it's running at 150 an hour. So the first thing you need to do is calculate how many hours it would run for. So if you have 600 and it's running at 150 an hour, how many hours will it take for that IV to run? 600 divided by 150 equals what?
1 hour.
4.
4 hours. Okay. Now it was restarted at 9:30 and they want to know the completion time. So if it started at 9:30 and it went for 4 hours, first say it in regular time. So regular time would be what?
1:30 p.m.
9:30 a.m. And what time did you say?
1, would it be 1:30?
1:30, yes. Okay. And because our time is past 1 p.m., we have to do what?
At 12?
Add 12 to that 1. So now what is your time?
13:30.
13:30. Everybody understand that? Again, this comes down to really reading what they're asking me. Okay? Again, you should be able to do the next one. And I have some practice ones of those for you in the dosage calc, but I want to try to get through what we got left here. Okay, now this one's asking you how much time is left for the IV to infuse. Okay? So you have 350 mLs to be infused, okay? Because you started with 1500. See what you have left? 350. So always make sure that whatever you started with is what you have now. Because if it's not, then you have to go with what you have now. And right now you have 350 mLs. It's asking you how much time is left for it to infuse. Okay? It's running at 55 an hour. So it's just simple math here. 350 divided by 55. And what'd you get?
6 hours. 24.
Okay, you got 6.4.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Let's go ahead and give it over, ladies.
Now, if I said in hours and minutes, how long did this IV run for? What would it be?
And don't forget the light.
Anybody know?
After all that time.
So remember, this is a fraction of an hour, right? So if it's a fraction of an hour, in order to convert it to minutes, what would you have to do? How do we convert hours to minutes?
The times 60 seconds.
Right. So now take 0.4 times 60. And what'd you get?
24.
24.
Okay, so 6 hours and 24 minutes if I wanted to know the minutes on this.
Oh, God.
Okay? Just a little tip for you. You guys aren't going to have blood sugars on there. That's something I do for practice for the test. If you want me to go over it, I will. How many of you know how to calculate the blood sugars and the insulin? Okay, let's just look at it. Okay, look at the order. So, the order says that the patient has a sliding scale for insulin. Okay. So sliding scale we use typically when we're checking the blood sugar. Usually patients will have like 3 times a day, they'll have like 2 units or 4 units or 6 units ordered, right? With their meals or right before they get the meal. However, if the blood sugar is out of range, on top of that, the doctor will usually give what we call coverage. And that's what that sliding scale is. So you're still going to give the regular insulin. Now, this client might just be in the hospital and he might not regularly get insulin. So you've seen those clients before? Anybody? So at 11 a.m., the blood glucose reading was 242. Okay. How many units of regular insulin would the client receive? So now you got to go to your scale and look. And you're looking for 242.
4 units.
Okay, good. 4 units. Now, at the next question, okay, prior to eating lunch, your patient's glucose is 255. Patient has a order for insulin, regular insulin, 100 units, and they get 4 units sub-Q 3 times a day with meals, plus 2 to 12 units of correctional coverage using the sliding scale. So when you do this one, you first have to calculate how much is he going to get regular. So what is he getting regular with every meal?
4.
4. So that's part of your order right there. He's already getting 4. Now you're going to look at the blood sugar. The blood sugar is 255. So the scale says if the blood sugar is 140 or less, he won't get anything. If it's 140 to 200, he gets 2 units, and so on and so forth. Okay. So now you got to go to where his blood sugar is and how much are we giving for 255?
6 units.
6.
6 units. And you're giving 4 units already. So how much are you giving altogether?
10.
10. And that's how you use the sliding scale. Now, how many of you have ever reconstituted something? Amoxicillin will usually come this way. You have to put the powder's in the container. You have to add water to it. If you do things like Rocephin, you'll have to reconstitute that. So when we reconstitute something, we add volume to it. Okay. So it can change the concentration. And usually there's directions on the side of the packet that tell you exactly what to do and what it will result in. So it'll say if you add 30 mLs of sterile water to this, you're going to end up with 3 grams of meslocycline in every 30 mLs. That's what this is saying to you. Okay. So your client is supposed to receive 1.5 grams every 6 hours. All right. Now, whatever you end up with, whatever your yield is, whatever your final concentration is, and this is telling you what it is right here, that for every 3 grams of meclizine is equal to 30 mLs or vice versa, okay? Every 30 mLs of the solution is going to have 3 grams of this. So that's what you're going to have on hand. You have to understand how to write it, okay? So your order is what? Come on, read it, nurse. What are you giving the client? You're on mute. Talk to me. What are you giving the client?
1.5 grams every 6 hours.
1.5 grams. Okay, that's your order. Now, I just told you this is what you have on hand. So how would you write that? You're going to put the grams first, just like you do on the other problems that you write, okay? So it's going to be 3 grams, right, times 30 ml. Now you just do the math. And you should end up with the decimal for your first number because 3 doesn't go into 1.5. So you should have got 0.5 there, and then you're going to multiply that times your 30 mLs. And what'd you get?
Ms. Loesch, when we do the 1.5 grams over the 3 grams, do we equal it then times it by the 30?
Yeah,
15.
15 mLs. Very good. Everybody understand that? Okay, so let's try this one. Again, look at your last statement. How many mLs will you administer per dose? So really, this is just desired over half. What is your order and what do you have on hand? What were you left with? What was your final solution or your yield? See this here? This doesn't matter because you already did that. And you were left with this. You see that? So your order is what?
So is it 15 mLs?
What's your order?
The order is 75.
Okay. I know you're giving me the answer, nurse. That's okay. I just want to make sure everybody knows how to set it up. I don't know why it's underlining it. If you put everything out like that, then it shows you what you're crossing out, what you're left with. Okay, so you said the answer was 15? There you go. All right, here goes the drop factor. Let's see if you can do it. Did we get it right? Everybody got it right?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Which I don't have the answer blocked out, so I want to keep it right there. Because I want to show you guys something about this one. Okay. Now, if you notice here, all right, this one tells you how much is infusing, right? But it doesn't tell you what. So what's your formula for this? It's total what? Take yourself off mute. Tell me the formula.
Total volume over total time times the
Okay.
drip.
So you notice that your time is not on there, right? It gives you a volume and it gives you a rate, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you can use your total volume here. What you would have to do is take that and divide it by the rate per hour. That would tell you how many hours it's going to run for. And then you would multiply that times your 60 to get the minutes. So it came out to this really weird number like 18.333, right? When you took the 2750 and you divided it by the 150, right? I can't hear you because you're on mute.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this has a little cheat in it that you can use. Okay. If it shows you this right here, then you can use this as your actual volume and your time. So you know your volume there is 150. 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes, right? Times your drop factor here, which is 15. You should get that answer. All right. Let's say you did do it the other way. All you would have to do, so let's go ahead and go back to the calculator for a minute. Put the 2750 in there and go ahead and divide it by the 150 and then take that really long number, that 18.333, and multiply it by 60. And that should give you 1100. Okay. Now take your 2750 because that's your total volume. That 1100 is your minutes. 2750 divided by the 1100. And then multiply that times your drop factor, which is 15. Something I didn't do right. And you should have got 37.5. Did you? Talk to me.
Can you go over that one
Yes.
more time?
Yes.
Yes. So this says your total volume is 2750, right? But it didn't give you a time. But you know it's running at 150 an hour. So take the 2750 and divide it by 150. That should give you 18.33333, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, that is your number of hours that this pump is going to run for. So if you take that multiply by 60, then it tells you how many minutes the pump is running for. Remember, for this problem, typically what we use is total volume, right? Which would be 2750 over the total time in minutes, which you just calculated to be 1100, right? You took that 18.33 times 60, that gave you 1100 minutes, correct?
Yes.
And now when you multiply that times your drop, do the math, 2750 divided by 1100.
$2.5.
Gave you 2.5, and then you multiply that times your drop factor, which is what? 15, right? You should get 37.5. You see, you get the same answer. That's what I'm trying to show you. In case you don't remember the little trick that's in there. So if you want to make it easier on yourself, if they give you this information, you can use it to your advantage. Anybody not understanding that? I suggest that you do it always the same way. Okay? If you're doing it always the same way, then you're going to use this method. You have to calculate how long the IV is running for and then convert that time into minutes because it didn't give you a time, but it gives you a cheat over here. So if you use the cheat, you see you get the same answer. No matter which way you do that, you're going to get 37.5. You see I showed you there on the bottom?
Miss Loesch, you always round it when it's drop factor?
Unless it tells you not to.
Okay.
It may not tell you to round it because that's the rule on a drop factor, because you can't give part of a drop. All right, let's look at this one. This one's mLs per hour. Okay. So whenever you're doing mLs per hour, it's asking you the hourly rate here in mLs per hour. Okay. So now let's set it up. So mLs per hour is going to be your total volume. Why is it this instead of this?
Because you're looking for the volume and not the
Yes.
milligram.
And this is a strength. Very good. So make sure you remember that on the test. This is another big factor why people get these questions wrong. All right. So now, wait a minute. I got to calculate mLs per hour, but my time is in minutes. So what do I have to do? I got to convert, right?
Minutes.
Yes.
Because I can't get to mLs per hour if my time is in minutes without converting. Remember that, or you'll get these wrong. All right. So we have 50 minutes. How would we convert that to an hour?
Will we divide that by 60?
Okay. Or a little trick is do the math, then multiply the whole thing times 60 to convert it to an hour. Because if I take 50 and divide it by 60, then I got to work with this crazy decimal. Right? But if I do it this way, I don't have to deal with the decimal. So what'd you get?
1,200?
Yeah.
Okay, now, would that make sense? Yes, because if I have 1,000 and I ran it over an hour, I would set the pump for 1,000 per hour, right? But 50 minutes is quicker than an hour. So that means I'm going to have more volume going in order to get it in that shorter amount of time. There are other ways you can do that problem. This is the simplest. So let's look at the next one. Okay, this requires two calculations. So the first one, you're running lactated ringers, 1,200 milliliters over 20 hours. and it wants to know what your pump rate will be in mLs per hour. So do that calculation first. And here you got it nice because look, you have mLs and you have hours. So you don't have to convert. What'd you get? Don't be shy. What'd you get?
60.
Okay, good. Now look at the second one. The problem here is you have mLs and then you have minutes. So you have to convert. So what's your total volume?
350
Then you're going to put that over the,
over the minutes, which is 75,
and then you're going to multiply the whole thing by
60.
to convert it. Okay, so your answer for that should have been 280. Is that what you got?
Yes.
And that makes sense because look, we have 350. If we ran 350 over an hour, it would be 350. Now we're running it over a little bit longer than an hour. So we're going to decrease the rate a little bit to make it stretch out. Double checking ourselves all the time. Let's look at this next one. And this will be the last one we'll do for today. Okay, so now it's telling us, it's asking us, the nurse anticipates that the IV will run for how many hours, okay? So you have 250 milligrams in 500 mLs, and it's running at 30 milligrams per hour. So it gave you really what you need to know, right? Because you know you have 250 milligrams in there. If it's running at 30, you should just be able to take the 250 milligrams and divide it by the 30 milligrams. And that should tell you how many hours. It should be a little over 8, right?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Okay, so 8. All right. It would have ran for 8.3, but we were rounding it to the nearest whole number. So that was 8.
So this one confused me because I was looking at the milliliters, not the milligrams.
Again, you have to go back and ask, what is the question asking me, and what's the easiest way for me to calculate it? If you know how much something's running per hour, and you know you have a certain amount altogether, okay, then you don't need the mLs here to calculate this. There are some times when you do. For this one, you do not. Again, for you people in basic L to R, you're not going to see this. But I'm still teaching it to you. But, you know, this is a game question for anybody in med surg or higher. And since I invited a multitude of people here, I am going through some of the higher level math. Eldar, you're going to see the basic stuff that we did in that first hour, you know, just regular desired over have, and it's going to be a lot about converting, being able to convert, being able to round. Simple questions, but they're looking to see, are you reading? Are you reading that order? Are you paying attention to what it says? Because nurses do not read well. They read too fast, and then they make an error. If you know your formulas, and if you read that last statement, it's always going to tell you how to set that formula up. The next biggest mistake people make, besides not rounding, is picking the wrong volume. Okay? Like on one of these questions that were up here. I know we had one somewhere. Anyway, picking milligrams instead of volume, that's another big error. Not being able to round, picking milligram instead of volume, putting colons and stuff in your military time. They don't go in there. There's no AM, there's no PM, there's no colon. You have plenty of time to do the test. Okay, you have 10 questions, and I'm pretty sure they upped it to like 45 minutes for you. These questions are probably harder than what you're going to see. Because I don't usually do simple. I try to do a little bit harder so that when you get to the test, it's should be a little bit easy breezy for you. If you watch these Dosage calc videos and practice. Now, you want more practice questions?
Yes.
So you're going to find them on your own. All right. You go to registered nurse. Dosage calc. Okay, you're looking for Sarah at registerednurse.com. Now, she does also break it down for you in videos. But if you just want the math to practice with, all right, she has all kinds of dosage calc sheets. And you can just go through here, like here, if you look here. And she has the answers, okay?
Did they have practice questions in it as well, right?
Yeah, let me put this on the and your workbook. I mean your you should have dosage calc practice questions in your Canvas as well. Those are going to be similar to what you're going to see on the test. Let me find the chat box here. So here's the link for registered nurse. And just keep practicing. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. Once you pass the first one, you don't have to take another one. So practice well until you take another class. All right. So practice and, get yourself there so you only have to take one. Then you got to come in on a Friday and take the other one on your day off. Well, some of you, it's your day off. Some of you have class on Fridays. But if you don't have class on Friday, then that kind of is no fun that you have to come in. All right. So that's it. I will try to post this once it loads up into my computer. Anybody?